Hello again and welcome back to another one. And today we have a couple of topics to cover, from one that shows TDE sensation. Doechii shares some details about her song that's been rising on the charts, The Nile is a River, where she also revealed how she was influenced by rappers like Eminem, Nicki and Slick Rick, and we'll expand on this in a moment. Today we also have a story from pop music legend Robbie Williams, who recently spoke about how he was inspired by a story about how M came up with the soundtrack for 8 Mile. But while M was right in his case, he turned out to be wrong, trying to replicate how M handled it on 8 Mile. And we'll expand on this in a moment. Today we also have more from Ice Cube, who briefly spoke about Kendrick Lamar in an interview that just hit the web. And if you recall, his lyrics on It's My Ego about Kendrick sparked polarizing takes on social media, and when Joe Budden put Ice Cube on blast over this back when it dropped. And we'll get to more on this in a moment. And before we get started, just like some fans predicted before the last Detroit Lions game, Eminem was indeed present at Ford Field Stadium. Check it out. We got some pictures that surfaced of Eminem with Flavor Flav and Barry Sanders, and we also got to see Eminem and Bizarre's daughter, which was news to some fans who had no idea Bizarre had a daughter. And moving on, today we'll start with a quick update on the fallout that continues over Drake's latest freestyle that many believe also qualifies as a LeBron James diss song. And we got Kendrick's associate G Malone going off on X that sparked heated debate after he posted, "I was cool with that freestyle till I realized that ish is about Bron, facepalm emoji, cause will bring the lame out of anything." And as we've come to expect, these posts are breeding grounds for relentless back and forth, as a user fired back with, "Kendrick had a whole song about people not congratulating him and being disappointed and sneak disses towards a comedian. It is okay to have bias, but when someone does the exact same thing and y'all get on here and act like it is different, it's just crazy to me." To which a user responded with, "Drake uses lawsuits. There's a clear difference in what he does versus what real rappers do. He's a great actor, though he should go back to that for a while." And perhaps calling Drake a great actor in this sense comes from a place where the user believes Drake's been able to cosplay as a rapper for decades, because apart from that, many of us have seen his acting on that TV show, and I don't think anyone believes that was great acting, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? And moving on, now some of you remember back when Ice Cube rapped about how he was Kendrick before Kendrick, and it sparked some interesting conversations back then, as Joe Budden, for instance, decided to put Ice Cube on blast for the lyrics, as he seemed convinced that Kendrick dropped on Ice Cube's album release date for this reason.
"Hey, he couldn't really get to y'all respect, and he's a, guy of culture, but he pissed at some of y'all." He dropped on the same day as Ice Cube. I think nothing is by accident. You heard what Ice Cube said about I'm whatever he said from the stage about him being Kendrick from Kendrick that era before Kendrick. If I'm Kendrick, mute it up. Mute it up. Who gives a what your opinion is? Shut the up. Solidarity time. Red and blue in the air. West Coast against all. Remember Detroit versus everybody? It's that times a million. With Detroit was able to say, all right, we won't go to Detroit.
I think with a lot of time though with Kendrick, Snoop gets the love, Drake gets the love. I think sometimes Cube feels boxed out of that. He feel like he don't get the mention when he put the West Coast on his back for a long time.
We don't give a
but he got a right to give a
Great. Tell the therapist.
Well, these bars were brought up during Hip Hop DX's interview with Ice Cube that recently aired, and Cube was asked about the bars. Check out a snippet.
You referenced Kendrick on the song.
I was Kendrick before Kendrick.
But seeing how he's been able to do the same thing, where he's kind of played within the system to a degree, but he's been himself. He hasn't conformed his art. Snoop was talking about how Kendrick took the crown or took the throne, right? So what's it been like to see his rise from that moment where he took the throne of the West Coast and took it to the world?
I mean, it gives, original artists hope, artists that won't conform, but want to get a message out, want to get their music out in the way they see it. So to see him win, to see him have such a big year, and see him, jump into the battles, that's another way you can solidify yourself out here, is step up to the challenge of the battles that ensue. It's the essence of the art. Most of us came up battle rapping people at school and shit, honing our skills against other MCs. It's like sparring to a fighter. So when you see guys get into the big arena and actually fight for real, lyrically, it gets the juices going of the culture, because everybody love to see a heavyweight fight. So to see him step up, battle multiple people with multiple songs, was something that we had never seen before. It was pretty, it was like fucking Bruce Lee in Game of Death. I don't know if y'all seen that. Just going up, whooping ass.
And before we get to more from Ice Cube, Drake fans were quick to pounce under this interview, as we got takes like, LOL, look at the culture, coming out when PR is needed, laughing emojis. They are trying to say a fake bum Kendrick hasn't conformed his art and persona, laughing emoji. Dude is the biggest hypocrite, as we can all see. Too late, the people are waking up. Joe Budden exposing yourself to kids, we're waiting on you, dude. And this was seen as extreme cope by some users that sparked reactions like, this gotta be mental illness at this point, like what are you talking about, laughing emojis. However, we got to find out some interesting details that provided some more context about this interview. As a user responded to Jeremy Hecht, Kendrick threw a subtle jab on the album, wild of him to give flowers now, food in hands emoji, to which Jeremy Hecht reacted, the interview was recorded the day before the album dropped. LOL. So also the day before GNX.
What? Hold up, wait a minute. Wow.
So basically, this was before Kendrick dropped GNX, that turned out to be on the same day Ice Cube dropped. And perhaps you could argue that they tried to set up Ice Cube with this one about dissing Dr. Dre 3 decades ago. Check out a snippet.
There was one line that I thought actually gave me similarities between you and Drake, actually. Ayo, Dre, stick to producing. And then Dre said, Metro, shut your hoe ass up and make some drums. I feel like you might have taken some inspiration from Cube on that one.
I don't know, it's like, that was all I could do was tell Dre to do what you do best.
You're great at this.
Get off the mic and leave me alone, But, Dre's he's a formidable MC, like Dre put out a record and everybody better run for cover, because the lyrics gonna be on point, delivery gonna be on point, music gonna be on point. So, he's a formidable MC. I would never use that line.
No, not today.
And I'll be looking forward to your thoughts later in the comment section. And moving on, before we get to Doechii talking about how Em and Nicki influenced her style of delivery, we got to find out some details about Robbie Williams' biopic, Better Man, when he revealed he tried to pull off what Em did with Lose Yourself on 8 Mile. Check it out from Collider. Quote, that's a banger. Robbie Williams tried to be Eminem for Better Man, but learned his lesson. And this was about shaping the music for the film. It goes, Williams shared that he initially pushed for certain songs to be included, only to later realize they didn't fit the tone of the movie. Williams recalled making the mistake, referencing his work putting together the soundtrack with director Michael Gracie. He told Collider, I was sending these songs over that I'm like, that's a banger, you are wrong. And I'd heard this story about Lose Yourself in 8 Mile and how the director had sent that back. And Eminem was right. And I'm like, I'm Eminem in this moment. That wants the song. And you are wrong. However, as Williams eventually discovered, Grace's vision for Better Man required a more delicate touch. Then I saw the finished version, and I was like, I totally get why those songs weren't the ones chosen. And I totally get what you did there. What I was sending wasn't a cuddle. What I was sending wasn't soothing. What I was sending wasn't healing, he admitted. Williams ultimately found the right musical balance with the help of songwriter and producer Freddie Wexler. Reflecting on the collaboration, Williams expressed gratitude for the learning experience, saying, then we delivered. Thank God. Me and a wonderful songwriter and producer called Freddie Wexler. Incredibly talented. Namaste. Love him. Well, Better Man is in cinemas right now and has opened to generally positive reviews, from fans and critics. However, it looks set to be a box office bomb, as it raked in $2.9 million globally so far, on a budget of around $110 million, and based on the industry average, sadly it is set to flop, as it would need roughly $330 million on the low end to be considered profitable. And moving on, we got Doechii out here killing it over the past few weeks, as if you recall, the Grammys nominated her mixtape for Best Rap Album, and she's just dropped the music video for The Nile is a River. And this takes us back to when she broke down the lyrics of the song on Genius, where she also revealed how she was influenced by certain rappers. Check out a snippet.
Like, that's kind of the energy. I'm just making light of like, okay, my life is like shit right now. Whoops. And I like doing that because it doesn't have to be so serious. We gotta laugh at things sometimes. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Don't wanna have to turn it guts into soup beans. The last couple of lines where I get really serious and my voice starts to growl like this, it's the first time in the whole song where I'm actually expressing anger as anger. I built up this whole story and I waited intentionally to the last lines to really give it to you and let you know, like, no, I'm actually really pissed off and you about to have me revert to somebody that I was supposed to leave behind. That's why I did it that way. And I also just like have a lot of Eminem influence, that slick Rick, even like Nicki Minaj, the way she animates her voice to just evoke an emotion. So that was what that was.
And it is safe to say that she's gonna hit a new career peak in 2025, as we got reports like Doechii's Alligator Bites Never Heal reaches a new peak of number 69 on this week's Billboard 200, and more, Doechii earned her biggest streaming day of all time on Spotify on January 4th with 6.26 million streams, up 390% versus last year. And it is crazy because pretty much every rapper who is considered skilled that made it to the mainstream after Eminem's peak in the early 2000s have mostly all revealed to have been influenced by him in some way, even the big three, as we got Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake. And in Drake's case, Akon revealed that early Drake sounded just like M. But over to you guys, share your thoughts below, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.
I love all people. Come on, man.